And thanks again for joining our presentation. So to start, my name is Mark Sferaza. I'm joined here with Mark Catafamo. He is our technical sales engineer who's going to be demoing our product and answering questions. So we'll be answering questions after the presentation, so please go ahead and submit questions in GoToWebinar as we move along. Also, we will be having feedback polls during the presentation, so your participation is strongly encouraged. So just a little bit about eBridge. We were founded in 1993. We were traditionally involved in EDI integration between trading partners and accounting systems. However, over the last decade, e-commerce has been our primary growth driver. We currently have about 2,500 customers worldwide and a countless number of industries and sectors. We also have a dedicated team of about 50 employees, and it's important to note that we do not outsource any of our development. It's all in-house. We have hundreds of connections that can easily be deployed for your custom solution. We do not charge for any upgrades, and our new cloud-based ePortal system will help to ensure that you are always up to date with the latest connection configurations. We have full EDI compliance without the need for additional on-premise software. Also, one of the major benefits of using our software is that we do not charge you fees per transaction. This means that you have an unlimited number of transactions and you pay a fixed price. So we are the only vendor that supports such a wide variety of accounting packages, EDI connections, and web stores. So as you can see on the left, our e-commerce partners like Magento, Volusion, and ASP.NET Storefront are just a few. We also have several EDI trading partners like Walmart and Costco. In addition, we've also moved into CRM and ERP integrations such as Salesforce.com and Microsoft Dynamics CRM. Our eBridge API allows you to connect your accounting system to virtually any platform. So this diagram here depicts the entire integration solution between your platform and the accounting package. So you can transfer things like sales information and inventory orders between the two systems. So what we do is install a small application on-premise that's running on your accounting application. This allows us to map the business rules of your system. We actually validate the data based on the business rules that you have established in your accounting system and provide exception reports if any issues were to arise. The end result is a clean, valid information with data sent to the appropriate fields automatically without errors. So as you can see, our solution offers a true bidirectional exchange of information. That helps to keep both platforms up to date. You can choose the update interval, so you can have the system update every 10 minutes, 30 minutes, or even on demand. Also, we have built strong relationships with our software publishers, such as Microsoft, Sage, and Intuit. We've partnered with CRM partners like Salesforce and e-commerce hubs like Magento. The underlying goal of these partnerships is to remain current with all the latest software applications and accounting packages in order to keep our end customers current. So now we'll let Mike take over with demoing our actual product itself.
All right. Thanks, Mark. My name is Mike Catafamo. I'm the technical sales engineer here at eBridge. And I just wanted to take you through our integration solution today. I want to show you the two components of the eBridge solution, which is the ePortal integration platform that we host on our network, and that handles all of the connections to your EDI partners, your e-commerce shopping carts, CRM applications, and virtually any other type of system that you want to transact with. What I'm going to show you today is the posting of an EDI order, which could just as well be any document coming from a web store or CRM application, and we're going to post it into Microsoft Dynamics GP, and we're going to look at that order. So we're essentially going to follow the cycle of order posting from our integration platform right through into the accounting system. So what I would like to do now is flip over to our eBridge corporate homepage here, and this is how we access ePortal. We're going to click on the client login button, And this is a live site. And when we log into ePortal, the main area of interest is going to be under transactions. And when we click on transactions, we'll see a structure that looks very similar to web-based email. So we'll see an inbox and an outbox, but instead of getting email messages, we're going to be looking at business documents. In this instance, all of these documents in our inbox are orders. Now, granted, they are orders from all types of different connections. Ingram Micro is an EDI partner, Magento is an e-commerce shopping cart, eBay is, of course, the popular online auction platform, Target and GHX are both EDI, and ASP.NET Storefront is another web store. So as you can see, in one location you can view order data from all of your sales channels in one location, and since it's web-based, it's very handy for you to be able to log in and see that. You'll be able to do basically anything that you'd expect to in this type of view, such as sorting the columns, as well as filtering based on the particular connection that we're working with. So you can very easily change these options and view the documents just for that particular connection or trading partner. And you'll notice that when I do that, the counters next to the mailbox folders change, which is very handy because you can view all of the documents that you have for that particular sales channel and find exactly what you need very quickly. Of course, you're also able to search by specific document number. So if I were to type in 166 here, if I'm looking for that particular eBay order, we're able to pull that up as well. So really what we're looking at here is a window into the documents going between your trading partner or sales channel and your accounting or ERP system that we're ultimately integrating with. I should mention that on a daily basis, you don't actually need to come into ePortal to do anything. Once orders hit ePortal, we automatically produce a downloadable file for the rest of the integration platform to process into your accounting or ERP system. So this is more of a window into the middleware, so to speak. One of the nice features, though, is that you can come in here and select a particular order or a bunch of orders if for some reason, say the power goes out when you're running the orders in, or there's some other issue that requires you to purge it from your accounting or ERP system. You can come in here later, click the reprocess button, and it will make those integration files available again. Now, if you're doing EDI, eBridge was actually founded on doing EDI integration back in 1993, as Mark had said. So we're extremely familiar with the requirements of running an EDI solution, and we have to support close to 40 accounting systems as well as several different industries such as manufacturing, retail, distribution, perishable foods, for example, that might deal with the expiry codes. So what we have on ePortal is a fully functioning EDI validation platform. So there's no need for any additional communication software or for any EDI validation software. And one of the big features of working with eBridge is that we don't charge document transaction fees. And if you're familiar with EDI, that's something you might be aware of, that many EDI vans, and you could think of an EDI van like an electronic post office that routes your EDI data, they charge a per kilocharacter fee. So essentially the more volume you do, the more you pay. And we want our customers to be able to transact as much information as possible and not be penalized for being successful. So we actually are able to offer flat rate transaction fees per connection type. So that's a really big selling feature, and we've had people move to our platform based on the savings in that area alone. So it's very nice. It's a very nice feature. So a couple of other things you can do here in this inbox is click on the actual order number, and I'm going to work with this Target EDI order today. But I'll show you in a few moments why it really doesn't matter what data we use to test this or demo this particular integration. First, I'm going to just click on the PO number here, and we're going to see a formatted representation of the EDI data. So very simple for anyone in your company to come in here, view the orders that are coming in. Maybe they're looking for a particular order and it hasn't been pushed into the accounting system yet, and they're trying to get some details. They can certainly click on the PO number here and view the details. So, and this is also printable, so you can click on the print button up here and get a hard copy if necessary. Okay. The other thing that I wanted to show you was that we actually capture and make available the raw EDI data and raw, all of the raw data we get from the sales channels. And that's not something that all of our competitors do. They actually, some of them actually hide the raw data you get from your partners, and that can be a little bit difficult if there's ever a question of, hey, I posted this into my accounting system, but there's something weird with the data. We can actually go back and see the raw, unaltered view of the data before we posted it into the accounting system. And if I click the document in view, you'll see the raw PO for this particular target order. And if you can read EDI, great. If not, certainly our technical support team is available to help you interpret something within the data if there's a particular question of what the trading partner had sent. So you can actually view that particular data right here. One of the features of ePortal that isn't necessarily apparent from the get-go is that we take the data from all of these particular different sales channels and we convert the order data into a standardized format. And that's really important because it allows our implementation team and integration team to build connections into your accounting system with very little effort after we get the first one going. So once we integrate this target order, and I'm going to pull up the document out view, which is the standardized format that I was just talking about, you'll see that it's an XML-based structure. And don't worry about the technical part of it. I just want you to take note of what it looks like at a very high level. And I'm going to now click on an eBay document out view. So this is what we produce for the accounting side for an eBay order. And you can see that it's virtually identical except for the contents of the data and some of the data values themselves. So this means that once we deploy a connection for your accounting system, say we were doing target first, and you said, okay, eBridge, we want you to add eBay to our list of connections. There's a very high likelihood that very little or no work would be necessary in order to get these eBay orders into your accounting system now, because we've built a connection point between ePortal and your accounting system for the transaction called orders, and we're integrating from a standard document format. So regardless of what the data looks like coming in, and you can see this is very different from the EDI we looked at for target, the document type that we have on the accounting side is standard, so that it makes leveraging these connections much more cost-effective for you and quicker to deploy for everyone, which is a nice feature. So that's essentially ePortal, and of course everything that you send outbound from your accounting or ERP system will show up in the outbox. So anything like invoices that you might need to send out or shipping notifications. If we're talking about web store, it might be inventory quantity updates. Those appear in the outbox, and I'll just very quickly click on that. And you can see it's very similar in that there are business documents in here. You can click on a particular transaction set and see some details. And here you can see the SKU and the quantity that we updated. This actually was to update quantity of inventory on a web store. So we audit and track everything that goes back and forth. So if you're ever questioning something, you can always come into ePortal and find out what flowed through our network. For the moment, I'm going to leave ePortal, and we're going to follow this target order through and into Dynamics GP. So essentially, if we're visualizing this workflow, Target has sent an order. It has come through the various communication paths, and it hit your ePortal mailbox, and an integration file is produced that is essentially a copy of this document out view, which is that standardized order format. And now I'm going to flip over to a virtual environment where I have Dynamics Great Plains running, as well as the eBridge client software. And we're actually going to manually run that order in. So let me flip over now to the virtual environment. And what we're looking at here is the eBridge software application. And essentially, this is a two-component piece of software. There's a database component that allows us to store things like logins, as well as the scripts that move the data back and forth. And it also stores a copy of all of the logs that get produced as a result of the movement of data into or out of your accounting system. So we'll have a look at those log files in a little bit of more detail in a moment. What I'm going to do is go under the Process Inbound Run tab, and I'm going to manually run that target order into Dynamics GP. Now, most of our customers prefer that this is an automated system. The only extra step we would undertake at this point is setting up a schedule that says, click the Start button for this particular script on whatever schedule you define. So, once per hour during working hours, and maybe, twice during the evening, overnight when you're not running normal business hours. So what we'll do is work with you to set up a schedule that works for you, make sure that the data goes into your accounting system looking the way it needs to for your business, as if you were manually keying it. So essentially, what we have here at eBridge is a number of pre-built, you can think of them as building blocks and tools that we can assemble to make a solution that's specific to your workflow and to your business process. And because we support such a wide variety of accounting systems and industries, we need to have more than one approach at any particular business challenge. So, a good portion of the project is making it yours, and you work with a project manager and our implementation team here in order to assemble the solution based on your specific needs. And we try to build the easiest solution for you and the most straightforward and the most cost-effective in order to meet your needs. And of course, when we show you how the system works, we're going to show you what you need to know, and we're not going to bore you with all of the various features we have. And if that's something you're interested in, we're happy to go into that with you. So let me go ahead and click the Start button here. And what we're doing is executing a number of different processing steps here. We're downloading the order from the ePortal account. We're data mapping it, which converts it from that standardized XML format we looked at to the accounting-specific format, in this case, Dynamics GP. And we're ultimately posting it into the accounting system. And as I mentioned earlier, every time we run an inbound or outbound process, a log file is produced. And I'm just going to make it a little bit bigger here to make it easier to read. And what we're looking at here is basically the fact that Dynamics GP is feeding information back into the eBridge system and displaying some communication messages. For example, on line 7 here, we're getting a message or a warning that says the unit of measure is invalid. The unit of measure will be substituted from the client table. Essentially, that means that the unit of measure for the item I was posting doesn't match what GP expects as it is set up as part of the customer or the item record. So GP is saying that what you're trying to post here doesn't make sense. That unit doesn't exist for this item, and it substitutes the correct unit of measure. Now, when we're implementing the project, we actually will clear up those types of warnings and make sure that we understand if there's unit conversions, either EACH to EA for eaches, or maybe we need to convert eaches to cases or vice versa, depending on how your customers are buying from you, or and how you have it set up in your inventory tables. So on line 10 and 11, you can see more of that, where Dynamics GP is feeding back information to the log file. And none of these warnings have been set to be a critical stop error. We're allowing the posting of an order that might have insufficient quantity, so in that case we're allowing back orders. Again, we have all types of options available as part of the implementation, and it's just a matter of flipping the right switches to meet your business needs. A pretty common check that we do across the board for customers is on pricing. So we'll compare the price coming in on the order with the price set up in the accounting system, and if there's a discrepancy, a lot of people want that highlighted. When it's a warning, we still allow the order to post, but it will record a warning to say, hey, by the way, this particular price on the order doesn't match what we have set up in the accounting system. When we have it set as a warning, we can still choose which pricing we want to use, either the order price or the accounting system price. And of course, we can make that a hard stop error if you know that pricing should always be an exact match. And we can also choose to override that on a customer-by-customer basis. So, all of your customers, maybe except for one particular wholesaler, might get the order pricing, but you might have special pricing set up in your accounting system for someone, and we can identify that and use that internal pricing on a customer-by-customer basis. And there's a whole bunch of other stuff we can do, and we have full control over the data before we post it in. So we can do all types of things like calculations on the data. We can smash fields together, so we can take first name and last name fields and make that one full first name, last name field. Really, it's totally up to you and how you're working with your accounting and ERP system. And we would just look for your feedback on what little kind of data rules we need to put in place. Now, because this is intended to run on an automated basis, we can email this log file to you every time the process runs, or only if there's exceptions like we're looking at here that you might need to take note of. Otherwise, this can run in the background, and your orders will just show up in your accounting and ERP system, and you can work with them the way you do today on a manual basis. And really, there's nothing more for eBridge to do at this stage. We connect, we transfer the data, we disconnect. We don't create any tables in your accounting system. We don't create menu options, drop-down fields. We don't alter the workflow that you currently have, and we're really not in the business of telling you what you need to do differently in order to work with our solution. We change our solution workflow to as much as possible to match what you're doing. Okay, so the exciting part. Ultimately, we're interested in the fact that we've created a sales order, and because we communicate actively with the accounting system, we're able to pick up the next sequential document number. In this case, we've created a sales order in Dynamics GP ORD ST2230, and we do have some details about the customer ID that it posted to, how we're identifying the customer on the data coming in, the ship to address, and the original PO number. And if we had 10 orders, we would see a summary line for each of those, and we would see all of the customers and order numbers that got created, and it's a nice summary to have. So at this point, I'm going to leave this eBridge application, and we'll quickly pull up the order in Dynamics GP just to have a quick look, and then we'll come back to the eBridge application, and I'll show you how we extract information out of eBridge, or out of the accounting system using eBridge, I should say. So let's minimize that. Okay. And we're going to go under the Sales tab of Dynamics GP and Sales Transaction Entry. And we're going to look for orders. And we're going to pull up ORD ST2230. So if we were implementing this on your side, at this stage we would request someone to review the data, make sure it looks exactly the way you need it to. If you're using any type of user-defined fields, which we have access to in GP, we can make sure that that data is populated appropriately, again, based on how you're working today. If you need us to determine what site ID, for example, we should use based on something coming in on the data, we can build that data logic or those mapping logic into the data maps that process it from the generic format to the accounting-specific format. So as we transform that data, we also can put in things that are specific to your business. So we can do all types of conditional validations on the data before we post it into the accounting system. So like I said, at this stage, we would request you to have a look at it, give us some feedback. We would tweak the data mapping if necessary, and hopefully at this stage, this particular import process would be complete and we can move on to the outbound documents if there are any. So I'm going to minimize Dynamics GP, and we're going to go back to the eBridge application, and we're going to look at how we extract information. And just as we did inbound run to push things into GP, we're going to do outbound run to extract things out of GP. And the profiles become a little bit more relevant on the extract or export side of things, depending on what information we need to send back out. With EDI, you're typically looking at invoices and perhaps shipping notifications. For web stores, we're probably looking at tracking numbers and perhaps inventory quantity updates. We will work with you at a business level to understand your needs, and then we'll take all of the technical stuff and we'll manage all of that to set up the different processes and make sure they're scheduled based on your requirements. What I'm going to do is just select the outbound invoices profile, and I'm going to click the Start button. And just about every touch point, and a touch point is really a business document like an invoice, a sales order, customer data, inventory data. Every touch point has a retrieval screen like we're looking at here that allows us to bring up the particular business documents that we're interested in working with. In this case, we're dealing with invoices, so we've locked down the touch point to be posted customer invoices. And the touch points do vary from application to application that we're integrating with. But posted invoices is a pretty common one across the board. I'm going to go ahead and just click the Retrieve button. And what we're looking at are invoices for a customer in Dynamics GP that we have identified as an integration partner. So you see here, Bridge Partner says yes. So we're actually able to limit right from the start the customers that we want to view within the accounting system. So if we're talking about EDI transactions, you most certainly have specific customers that you want us to look at. For web store, it might be that we want to view everyone, and then we have the ability to actually look at individual fields within the data to determine whether or not we should send back that transaction to the web store. So, for example, if you said to us that in a particular field on an invoice in GP, we need to make sure that we send back the tracking number so we can look at that particular field where you input the tracking number, and if there's data in it, we can send that back to the web store. If it's blank, we can bypass it and look the next time we retrieve those documents. What I'm going to do is turn off the filter here that just shows the bridge partners, and I'm going to click Retrieve again, and you'll see that we're actually able to bring up invoices for everybody that you have in the accounting system here. So you can see here where the bridge partner says no for the vast majority of them. Know that you can select any of these, and send them to ePortal, and ultimately back out to the sales channel that we're working with. So even in a manual fashion, this is quite simple to work with. And this particular screen is all about identifying which documents you want to send back. So you can select whichever ones you want here, click the export button, and that will transmit them back out to ePortal, of course doing all of the pre-processing that is required in order to make sure that your sales channel can accept that data. All right, so that's how we would manually extract information. And of course there's some other filters you can leverage here as well, such as date ranges. So you can say just show me the invoices for a particular date range, as well as customers. You can limit it here as well. And the document numbers, in this case these are invoice numbers. So there's a number of different filters that we have at our disposal, and if we need to get more granular than that, we can look at the data contained within each document and, again, determine on a case-by-case basis whether we need to send that information out or not. So we can get quite precise with our handling of each of these business documents. Okay. So that's essentially how we use eBridge and the eBridge system to import and export data between your sales channels and your accounting system. As I mentioned earlier, there are a number of different other tools that we have at our disposal depending on how your business process runs and the nature of your relationship with your trading partners or sales channel. And our goal is to be the best at providing integration for small and medium-sized businesses, and allow you to be successful without incurring additional charges as you start to sell more on each of those channels. So I hope that gives you a good idea about what the eBridge integration solution looks like. If you have any questions, please feel free to send them through the webinar question panel. Otherwise, please feel free to contact us if you have any other questions. I'm going to turn it back over to Mark. And as I said, if you have any questions, please feel free to chime in. Otherwise, we're going to wrap things up here. Mark?
Okay, thanks, Mike. As Mike said, please feel free to submit your questions now. We'll also be taking questions through email. If you have any technical questions with regards to our software or pricing information, you can reach us at 1-800-755-6921. You can reach me directly at extension 280. You can also reach us by email at info@ebridgesoft.com or sales@